Good morning, everyone. Hope you can hear me. All well, all set. I hope if you have anything, we can discuss further. What happened? Where are others? Good morning, Nadeem. Mani, good morning. Prachi, good morning. Vikas, good morning. Basudip, good morning. Can you ask that to join quickly? Pratik, good morning. Where is Lokender? Deepak, good morning. Can you ask Lokender to join? Others also joined here. Shiv, good morning. Hope, Shiv, you can understand all those items, whatever we are discussing. Nishant, good morning. I will discuss all those points, whatever we are discussing right now. Good morning. So, can we discuss anything which you have my attention immediately? Where is Yogendra ji? Yogendra ji also not showing here. Meanwhile, do we have anything to discuss? Is TypeScript supported? Yes, TypeScript also supported. We are utilizing PCF control to develop in TypeScript. Either in React also we can develop. There are other controls as well. From command bar we can run Power Automate Flow or only JavaScript. Yeah, we can call a Power Automate from the JavaScript. Even yes, we can, right? Yes, we can. So any action, suppose if you are calling any JavaScript function. So you guys have any idea related to XRM toolbox? Any basic knowledge what is XRM toolbox? Or maybe we can set up a dedicated session related to the XRM toolbox. If you have any idea, it's good. Otherwise, this is a very good tool. You have to use it and you should understand what types of capability we have in XRM toolbox. This is not only one tool. Let me try to connect with this new environment here. Meanwhile, anything else we can discuss or we can initiate. So what I'm trying to do here, first I will showcase like the basic step related to dynamic CRM, very basic step we will try to implement. Why? Because if I'm going to showcase or initiate something, whatever uh, what capability we have, so I will try to explain you this information from very scratch. So let me try to create a connection. I'm doing in backend. Bear with me. Do you have any point that we can discuss further? Otherwise, I can initiate. C49. C49. Okay, so let me share my screen. What I have done, I have created my environment, trial environment, how to build logic in JS. Yeah, I will tell you. Don't worry about it. Complex logic, whatever if we want to implement in dynamic CRM, we can achieve. But how to achieve that one and what types of logic we have to implement, first we have to understand very basic things. Other thing will try to implement here. So uh, our understanding should be very clear here. So let me try to create a solution here so that at least we can create a solution. How I'm doing. So let me show you. I'm creating a JavaScript solution. Maybe you may utilize other tool as well, like you can use Notepad++. So I'm creating a solution, very basic solution, so that I can store everything here. I'm creating a .NET based application here so that I can add my JavaScript function here in one place. Web application. I'm creating here ASP.NET web application. I'm creating here JS demo solution. I'm creating. Okay. Why I'm creating this one? I'm selecting here empty one. It is creating here. So why it's required, I will tell you. This is my approach. Maybe you may follow different approach. So some of the candidate, how they are doing, they are opening Notepad, they are creating a JavaScript function here, they are writing those function, or they are directly even changing the code even in the dynamic CRM web resource. But that is the wrong practice. I would recommend you to create a empty solution So you need to create a JavaScript function, suppose. So here, right click, maybe in the solution explorer, right click, add a new and try to create a new JavaScript resource file. It will take hardly 30 seconds for you. But in terms of the naming convention, suppose first demo js file. I'm writing that particular file name here. But suppose if I need to write any JavaScript code related to any specific file, suppose I need to write my file here related to one entity. Entity would be related to sales modules, it could be related to service modules or any modules. But for one entity, I would recommend you have to go for two files. Why two files? Because anything, if we are adding JavaScript code, so we have to add that JavaScript code into the form level here. So anything, whatever we are writing here, we have to add here. We have to add that code into the form level. How it's work, I will tell you. So I would recommend you to create your file in two parts. One part is uh, main library. Another one is ribbon library. Okay. How I can decide like which types of code I need to maintain here or which types of code I need to maintain here. And this is for file naming convention. So suppose because it should be a unique, so I need to maintain here the entity name. Suppose I need to work in the lead entity, lead main library and lead ribbon library. So I should have two files always in one entity. So suppose I want to use this file. Why? I will tell you. Suppose lead main library. So I'm creating this one. So this is the lead main library. Why I am writing this particular library here? Why? Because I don't want to add everything, whatever is related to this form level. So in form level, how many event we have where I can register my functions? Okay, so how to register a function, that is a separate things. I will let you know step by step. We will go step by step. Then you should understand. So in main form, we have different life cycle, form level life cycle. So we have option to register JavaScript function in on load, on save. We can say on change. Remember all those things. On change, tab change. So tab change. Okay, on load. So this is form on load. It could be form on load, form on save. On change means it could be this field on change, it could be option set on change. So suppose if I want to write some code here on change of this one, on change of this one, like if I want to change something here. So if I'm tabbing this particular one, if it means if I'm pressing tab, so it means it is changing. So I want to trigger some logic on change of this particular field. So I can write that particular code. So when I may need this particular logic, suppose if someone say, hey, if I'm changing this particular lead related mobile, so all associate, if we have any contact related to this particular lead, means this particular mobile number, so we need to perform some action. Maybe we have to update this new mobile number into associated email id that contact. So suppose related to and this email id, if any contact is exist, any contact is available in dynamic crm, I need to update this mobile number whatever I'm changing. Maybe that types of requirement we may have. So on change will work sometimes where we need to update something or we need to perform any logic. Suppose there is a option set here. Maybe we don't have here any option set at this moment. Suppose here send or don't send. So I need to implement some logic based on change of those event. So I can register my logic on change of this particular event. So how to write this particular logic? Maybe I can go for this field schema name marketing material underscore on change. Tab change, like these are the tabs, summary tabs, relationship details, and maybe we may have n numbers of tabs here. So whenever we are changing something, so maybe we may have hide and show rule. So I have that flexibility. I can register my JavaScript function on tab change, on change, form load, tab change. I have flexibility to register my javascript function. So if anything related to those particular event, I need to write my javascript function under this particular library. Form related js code should be here. Okay, understood? Clear? Anything, if I need to write any javascript code on form load, on tab change, form load, on save means whenever I'm clicking or I'm doing control s, that will be registered on form save event. So on form save, if I need to write something, so or any related logic which is dependent on the form, I need to write here. Anything which I need to write logic on this particular ribbon level. Ribbon level means whatever I need to customize my ribbon area. So that level of JavaScript code I need to write into the separate JavaScript file. Why? You should understand why I need to maintain all those files into the separate files. Because if everything I need to add into one place, this code is, you know, that code file is very heavy sometimes. So I need to load everything inside this particular file only. So if I need to perform some logic, so I need not to load that one into this particular form level. So that's the reason I want to keep all the code associated to this particular ribbon library. I need to maintain in a separate library. Any logic, any JS code related to ribbon button, I have to maintain in ribbon. So if we are maintaining our standard process or our, you know, uh, this particular process in such a manner, so that any code related to form related code I need to maintain in this library, any code related to this particular library I need to maintain here, to minimize the form load so that I can improve the speed of this particular form. So sometimes we are getting some issues like, hey, this particular form is taking more time. So maybe we have added more logic, more code. Sometimes maybe it is not like JavaScript code, maybe only for 200 lines, 300 lines. It could be 10,000 lines, more than 10,000 lines. Over the time, if we are writing code and we have to maintain some complex logic, so that code hierarchy or code number of line of code, it will always increase. It's recommended to maintain into two different files so that at least we can reduce uh, form load dependency. One thing. Another thing is we have to write our code in such a manner, we have to reuse our code. That is our best practice. Suppose if I need to, hide and show some particular fields. So I have two options. I can hard code that particular code, or I can create a common function where I need to pass uh, attribute name, or maybe if we are using tab name, we are using section name, so maybe we can pass tab name, we can pass section name, we can pass attribute name, and we have to pass true or false. If we are passing true, so we have to hide, we have to false, if we are calling if we are passing false, then we have to hide that code. So in that manner we can define our some common or global functions where we have to call those ones, so that we can even, we can sometimes we have to perform that logic into multiple fields. So we can define a collection and we can pass some collection parameters or maybe a array, and we can do the for each loop on that. It totally depends. I will explain you all those items detail, here. So you should understand the basic things here so that there is no confusion here. On save, load, on change, on save, on load, on change. What things can do with JavaScript? We have more things here. First, you have to understand like what is the hierarchy and how to utilize this particular item. So I hope you understand this terminology. Why we have maintained those two files to reduce the load of the form. Okay, suppose we have created one here JavaScript library that is related to the form level only. Okay, so I will minimize it. Now, if we have to define a web resource in dynamic CRM, so what to do? Either we can go for a function, simply we can call a function. We can create a simple function, very simple function. So I will tell you that part as well. Suppose if I need to define a JavaScript function in dynamic CRM and I need to perform something and I need to register that function inside a web resource and I need to call into dynamic CRM. How to do that? First, we will go for standard or normal functions. That is not recommended from my side, but I will tell you that part as well. So, function in JavaScript, if we need to do something, so we have to define a piece of logic inside a function so that we can call a function. It is not like we can, so to define a function here, so function keyword, this is the keyword. Now the function name, function name could be anything. It could be your name, your location name, your brother name, your mother name, but you have to write the function name in such a manner so that anyone can understand what is the purpose of that function. You can write anything, but what is the benefit of that one? Either you can read it or maybe God can read it. So it is not recommended. So here the definition of the function. Suppose I need to call that function on form load. So that function name should define uh, the purpose of that function, the functionality. Okay. So form on load. Okay, so on load function I'm calling here. So This is the very basic things related to JavaScript. Very first thing you need to understand. This is the function keyword. This is the function name. Function name, someone ask, hey, why you have choose here function underscore onload? Why you have not written here? You can write like your name. You like your name? Okay. Sunil Kumar. Because I know my name. I did this will also work. But what is the purpose of this Sunil Kumar? So any other one person can, hey, why you have written this function name? This will also work. But why you have written this one? Because this function name will not explain or will not define the purpose of this particular one. So you have to go the naming convention. The naming convention should be proper. Okay, so we have to write something on form load. What is form load here? Whenever I'm opening this particular record, so there are some functions here. So there are some event. So this form is loading. So once that form is loading, so I need to perform that logic on form load. That is the form on load event. Okay. A minute. Okay, let me add. So I need to pass the form context, execution context here. I need to, why I need some object here so that I can control this form object. Object means these are the objects. These are the attributes. So based on one object, I can control all the form attribute which are available in this particular form. So to perform any logic, I have to control this particular form. How to control this particular form? With the help of one parameters. So I need to maintain one here parameters. So execution context you should understand. So it could be anything. Again, this is a parameters. This is a input parameters which this function will accept. So suppose sometimes some of the candidate they are asking, hey, this particular name should be execution context. Why we are maintaining this execution context? Execution context, but I don't want to maintain this execution context. Maybe I can make it uh, input, maybe input, or maybe any input parameters. But uh, you should understand the naming convention of this particular one should be unique. So because we have to maintain this one across all the place. So I will tell you here. We are maintaining some of the JavaScript best practice. So it's recommended here if you are calling a function name. So even you have to maintain here as a execution context. See, form context, sometimes you have to maintain form context, execution context. So you can maintain anything, any information here. Suppose here also, because in every place you have to maintain the similar functionality here. So maybe you have to maintain here this keyword. So what is the benefit of this one? Every place everyone can understand this is the execution context. It is not like you have to write this one only, but we have to maintain. Okay, so this particular, with the help of this execution context, we have to get form context. So this object we will pass, with this object we will get a form contacts. So here bear is nothing. Bear is a variable. Form context. Form contacts, with the help of this execution contacts, we will get a form contacts here. Get form contacts. So we will use this. So execution contacts that dot form contacts here. So this is the things. It is not like you need to get the different. This is keyword. So with the help of this one only, you have to get everything. Okay, let me just copy this one and let me paste into the web resource. Okay, so this is the one. This solution we already using for this demo. Let me try to create one new web resource. What is web resource? Web resource, maybe JavaScript type. Like if we want to add our custom logic here, we have to define our logic. It could be JavaScript, it could be control A, control C. We have to paste here. This is the JavaScript file. Okay, here name could be lead. What we have written, this particular one, lead main library, display name lead main library, description language is English. So we are saving this particular function. Okay, we have done any specific work, nothing special, right? So here, do we have any lead entity? Let me add that lead entity into the solution so that we can add lead entity. I'm selecting here. I'm clearing all the object. I'm adding one form. Which form it is? Sales insight. So I'm adding only sales insight. Sales insights. Sales insight I have selected here. Why I have selected sales insight? Because I'm showing this particular form here so that we can understand. Maybe sales trial also we can add, but at this moment I'm selecting here. So we have created one web resource. Now we have to add that web resource into the form level. Most of the candidates, maybe you aware this particular adding the JavaScript into the forms and even the basic functionality into the form, but I'm trying to explain all those information to everyone so that even a person who don't know the basic things related to the JavaScript, at least you should understand. So into the form level, I'm adding a very simple, very basic event. So first I'm adding form library. So I need to add that form library here. So adding library here. What is the name? Lead main library. Okay. I'm selecting adding into the form. I'm adding that JavaScript library into the form. Why? Because if that JavaScript code, whatever I am going to write, that has to be loaded into the form level. That's why I have divided the entire code into two pieces: lead main library or lead driven library. I don't want to add unnecessary code into the form level. That's why I keep driven library code into the separate file. I hope you understand now. Now that JavaScript, this code is added into the form level. Now I want to call this function into the form on load. I don't want to do anything till now, but I just want to register this form, this particular function into the form level, a basic function. This is not, I'm not using any namespace. So I'm calling, okay, the event now. Here you can see on load event, you can see on load event. So where I need to register this function? On form load. First let's try that one. There are already some of the functions we have added here. So how to add that particular function here? Now on form load, which particular JavaScript file I need to add that one, because we have created our own file. Because if you have not added that file and you want to register your function, this is not possible. First you have to add that web resource into the form, then only you have that option to select. So I have added this lead main library, added lead library, then calling that particular function. Okay, which function? Form on load. That's why we have written this naming convention. So I need to write, copy that form name. Now you have to understand very carefully. If this is selected, even if you call that one, if you don't want to call this function on form load, you have to just disable this one. This on load function will not call on form load. Now because you asked, I need to get one object of this particular form execution context, so that I can control all the parameters which are available into the form. So pass execution context as first parameters. So here I have added. I just want to pass this parameter. So someone maybe ask you how to pass execution context from the form. So I have to check this checkbox, and then our job is done. So now done. Now, what we have done, we have written one JavaScript function, we call this JavaScript function, and even if you need to do something, like if you now you become a developer, now if you want to perform some alert means, hey, I want to present my first development as a I am here, or hello world. Hello. So now what to do? I just want to update my web resource. First save it, save it. Now you become, at least you initiated your career as a developer. Happiness. If you do not pass the execution contact in the first plan in the dynamics, and your script will typically fail in tech. No. Hmm. Correct. That's right. So you have to be very careful about this one. So I'm publishing this one. Now I want to update, because I just call that function into the form load. So I want to publish, I want to add some JavaScript code into the web resource. So my aim here is only to update my JavaScript code, because I already called that particular JavaScript function. So you should understand there is no syntax error, otherwise your code will not work. Don't directly change here. First save, publish, publish. You have to publish it after saving that one, otherwise those change will not reflect. What is the difference here, publish and publish all? If you have selected one specific content control, it will publish only that one. Publish all means it will publish all the unpublished item into the system. Either you have done or some another person done those particular changes. Okay, let's play the game now. Now you become a JavaScript developer. If you don't have any idea, Wait a minute. Now you have to reload, you have to refresh because this is client side scripting. Okay, now I want to open that form. So I have written that code into the form on load. Now you have to get a alert function. Yes, hello world. Whatever we have written in our code, if you want to change it, hey, now I have started my JavaScript file. You can change here. So now you have successfully completed or executed your code. Now, because till here you have initiated. Okay, let me show you one thing. Now you have written your code here. If you want to debug or you want to check that execution context, what types of information my execution context is having, and if you want to debug something, how to do debug, what is the debugging part. So suppose if I want to check what types of information, if I need to check here in this particular place, even I can I can debug all those information. Debugging is nothing, line by line, checking the values. So if you want to debug something, you need to right click in the form level, like here, right click, inspect, right? So directly there is a developers tools comes into the picture. Now you have to use this developer tools from the browsers. Even you can open this one into the separate window, so you can play around those particular items. So I am more comfortable here, sometimes here, or maybe in the form down. I want to check something here in the page down. So suppose in the console level you can check if anything, any error is coming or not in the form level. If you want to check something in the form level, you can check in the code levels. So here in the console level I want to check something. So in the form on load you want to check something. So let me try to copy this form context. Suppose I want to check something, whatever I have. So in the source code I want to open any file which I have loaded into the form. So you can search that file whatever you have. So what is the file name here? Lead main library. This is the where our lead main library. Where is our file? Where is our file here? Where is my file? Let me open this file here into the separate window. Okay, so now open file, main library. This is our lead main library here. So, okay. So here, this is our lead main library. So if I want to debug something here, so I can add my debugger here. So even here, disable break, remove breakpoint, add scripting, ignore. So you have added this debugger. Okay. So if you want to reload this one, because we want to load, we want to check our code here. Okay, so here you can check this execution context. Okay, here in the console viewer, EXEC. Okay, we have that JavaScript file, so we can copy paste. We can leverage the copy paste also. EXEC execution. So here in execution context, you can see all those information we are having here related to that particular object. So here you can see form context, tokens, every information, even in the form data levels, whatever information we are having. You know, yesterday I have showcased all those information related to this particular one. So in the attribute level, even I can see all the forms related information. We have seen multiple collection information here. So all those information I can retrieve from this particular one. So entity name, here I can see lead, and entity reference, entity is lead, id is equal to this one. UI level, even we have seen all those information, what types of information we have here, even the tabs level information we are having here. So everything we are having here. So likewise, if you have written this one, this particular one, so maybe you can retrieve all types of information. So suppose if I want to retrieve anything, any other information, form context, like whatever we have selected here. Suppose here, get form, get form context. So if you have written something wrong here, because spelling is wrong. Form context, where is form context here? Get form context. Here you can see form context. So here execution context, context, get form context. So here you can get all those information from the form context. So with the help of that object, I can retrieve other information like data, entity, and all. Now you are the boss of this particular form. So with the help of this one, you can retrieve everything from the form. Not everything, most of the information you can retrieve. So your basic or first purpose here is to retrieve this form context so that you can get everything from the form level. I hope you understand basic things related to this one. So execution context dot get form context. Now you can control everything from the form level. Okay. Now what you want to retrieve? Okay. I don't want to get this alert message multiple times. I can remove this one. So this is the commenting. So now I want to check like, hey, I want to read all the information. Suppose I want to retrieve this topic, what types of information we have in this particular field. I need to check that information in the form level, in the JavaScript level. So it means you are retrieving information from the form level. Form level means maybe I may have other form, but because I have added my JavaScript into this particular form, so I can read all the information from this particular form only. So suppose to retrieve this form, so we have option. So we should have this schema name. So this schema name is subject. Okay, I need to retrieve this information. So you should understand how to retrieve this one. Very simple. So I need to retrieve that one into a, I can store that information into maybe topic. Okay. I can store into a variable. So how to retrieve that one? Form context dot. Now, how to retrieve this information like any other field information? So how to retrieve that one? We have a option. What you have a option? Get attribute. So if you need to retrieve any field parameters, so you have option like form context dot get attribute. So get attribute means you need that attribute name, schema name. So with the help of attribute, you can retrieve that information. Get attribute field name. So what we have field name here? Field name is subject. That's it. Now I can return. Okay, let me alert that information. Alert means that is for printing purpose. So I can hard code this one. I can add that string. What is the string information here? This is the subject because we are storing that information. So let me add my topic. It could be anything because we are hard coding that one. TOPIC topic space. Let's see. Let's update this particular JavaScript, whatever we have written. What we have added? We have added those two lines. So what is the purpose here? I need to display whatever we have in the form level. What we have in the form level means, so it should it should display here this topic information. Topic. Okay, let me do it. So let's copy this one where our JavaScript function. Okay, let's update that code and let's try. Very basic, very basic information you should get. So because we have updated the code, but we need to publish it. Then only it will impact. It will reflect into the system. Once it's published, okay, done. We have to publish it. We have to publish at least twice. Then only it will reflect. Hello, the old information. I need to publish one more time. Refresh. Hello, one more time. Why will you hard refresh? Okay, what's going on? Let me go back and then try to open it. Let me do hard refresh. How to do hard refresh? Empty cache and hard reload. Right click, inspect and do hard refresh. Code is not publishing. What is the topic name? Let's check. Alert should be topic here. Let's do one more time, publish, and then we'll try. It is taking some time. So meantime, do you have anything? Right. Either you have to give logical name or schema name. There is no impact here. Just try to spend some more time here. This is very basic. I will try to give deep and drive information, whatever I can give my level best, so that at least you have better understanding related to the JavaScript. We will take 2 or 3 day extra time. Okay, 1 minute. I'm getting one call. Maybe I need to mute for few seconds. So let me try. Yeah, it's done. Finally, yeah. Topic, object. Oh, oh. You remember? You understand what's going on? It's getting the object name only. Okay. If you want to get some value here, so you have to check get value. You have two options: get value or set value. Okay. So then you will get the exact name. Now you have to rely oh, get value. Okay. So now we are getting the object name. First you have to check something. Okay, one more thing. Whatever we have written now, the null check is not happening. Suppose someone removed this particular field from the form, it will throw one error, null check error, if you have added this question mark before dot get value. So it will handle that null check means even if you have removed that particular field from the form, which field, this topic, so it will not give you any error. It will handle the null check. Okay, let me upload it. So be careful whenever you are getting or setting that value. Either you have one option, you have to check one condition before getting this value. If form contact dot get attribute and this particular one is not null, then you are getting that value. If you have added this question mark, that it will control everything. Is it published or not? This is weird UI here. If I have published multiple times, they will not remove the order. I have to close manually. Let me refresh it. Let's see. Testing notification. So what we have seen here, whatever we have in this particular field, we are able to retrieve that one. So we are reading information from the form level. Now, what it will show, whatever we have in this topic field, testing 62323, whatever we have in this particular. Now, if I need to retrieve this field, what to do? First name or last name, maybe mobile number. What I have to do? Nothing to do. This is very simple. Very, very simple. I need to copy this field information. Lokinder, can you hear me? You can understand this one. What I have to do? Very simple. Subject, get value. Okay, mobile. Now we are doing just copy paste. Alert, mobile phone. We are hard coding this value. We are pasting. So now because both are here text field, we are uploading. Nothing to do. Very simple part. If you are able to retrieve all those information, very simple. What you have to do? Form context. How to get that form context? We need to pass that execution context. How to get that execution context? From the form level, you need to pass one from the on that library side, and then you need to retrieve form context. And if you have form context, you are the boss of that library. And then if you can retrieve anything from the form, let's see. Have you updated? Yes. Okay, let's publish it. Then let's try. Let's try. Topic. Let's do one more time. Testing. Your code is not published. Testing. Let's wait for one more minute. I hope you have better understanding now related to JavaScript. This is very, very simple. But step by step, you have to do some practice. You have to do some, logical level understanding. Make sure you have to work here step by step, then you are able to get all those information here. Mobile number also coming. Okay, now you can retrieve anything. Maybe that typing, how you are, sometimes if you need to retrieve information from the different types like lookup label, if you are retrieving, maybe you have to do something else. If you need to retrieve information from the other entity, other data type, maybe currency type, if you need to retrieve. So how to check that one? We can use our ChatGPT. Okay, let's now you can see all the information. Form context dot name, here set value, here we are getting some value, get value. Now we are setting values, we will discuss tomorrow. Now we need to retrieve those option set. So this is the option set sample. So previous one is from text field. Now option set. Now lookup. Now on change event we are checking get all those information. More other scenario. Let me know if you have any doubt. We are good to close today's test session. If you understand, thumbs up. Let me check how many candidates you are able to. I can see 9 likes here. Thumbs up only. Can you hear me? Okay. Anything, if you have, you can post here. We can discuss tomorrow. Let's wrap up today's call and maybe we can connect tomorrow. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time. We can connect tomorrow. We can discuss. We can share some knowledge to each other. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye. Have a good day.